So now Donald Trump says the American people are going to have to feel a little pain first. Grocery prices ain't going to be coming down just yet. And it's going to be amazing now to sit back and watch Trump supporters spin this that, well, it's okay, we'll wait, we'll be patient. We tried to tell them that for 4 years. We tried to explain to them that, hey, we're coming out of a global pandemic, one that your guy bungled, and we're trying to get our feet back on the ground here, and Joe Biden is signing a whole lot of things that's going to help us get back on our feet, so you just got to be patient. But they had absolutely no patience when it came to Joe Biden, and now with Donald Trump, I guess they're going to be willing to feel the pain. Is that okay? Are they good with feeling that pain? Because we got to go back and remember what he said. We got to remember what he promised. And that was to bring it down on day one. I'll end inflation. I'll bring down all the prices. Oh, and he was going to end the war in Ukraine while he was president-elect. That sure as hell didn't happen. But all these promises he made now, he's having to backtrack. And now he's having to tell them that that's not how it works. Well, that goes against everything he said, because he always talked about how smart he was and how much common sense he had. And J.D. Vance said, oh, Donald Trump has common sense. It's going to be good to have common sense leadership back in the White House. But then he gets in there and real quickly has to come out and announce, oh, well, yeah, all those things that I thought I had common sense on and all those things I told you I was smart about and no one was smarter than me. Yeah, turns out I wasn't so smart. Turns out I can't get it done as quick as I said I could, and we all knew that. Anyone with a reasonable bone in their body knew that. And I think deep down Maga knew it too, but I just don't think they care. I truly don't think they care. I think they will line up. If eggs goes up to $25, they'll pay it and say, we're doing it for America, we're doing it for Trump. So I just have a hard time, and we could talk about them all day, and I know people says, well, Brando, you're beating a dead horse, there's no point in talking with them. But I've just never seen anything like this in my life. I've never seen the mentality that people have about voting in general is mind-boggling to me. And one that really leaps off the page at me is that when someone will say, well, he said he would abolish the Department of Education. He said he would do all these things, and I don't like none of those things, but I'm going to vote for him because I don't really think he would do it. What in the hell sense does that make? Why in the world would you ever vote for someone because they said they were going to do things, but you don't think that they would actually do it? Because I guarantee you that if someone walked into a job interview and said, you know what, when I get here, I'm going to take a break anytime I want to. I don't care how long breaks are, I'm going to take them longer. I don't care. If I get about to take a leak and I piss right in the floor, somebody's going to have to mop it up. That person would never get the job. No one would hire them and go, well, you know what? I think I'm going to go ahead and hire them. I think I'll go ahead and hire them. I don't think they'll really do that. That wouldn't happen. They wouldn't get through the door. So why in the hell would you vote for someone who's telling you, I'm going to screw you? Oh, well, I don't really think he would. I'll just vote for him anyway. That one makes absolutely no sense. And then to the ones who thinks any president can get something done on day one. Oh, on day one, I will do this. On day one, you can get the ball rolling. You can get the ball rolling on day one. You can make some moves on day one. But he was out there saying the prices would drop. You would see them coming down. And even when gas prices or any price drops ever so slightly, even when Biden was president, he was taking credit for it, saying they're doing it because they think I'm coming back. And people got behind it. People believed it. And now those same people who made eggs their entire identity, and don't get me wrong, I love eggs, but I didn't realize just how much people did love them and what a big part of their lives they were, but they made their entire identity about eggs are too expensive. We have to have cheaper eggs. And now, well, I guess we'll just have to feel a little pain first. There's just no consistency, and it's one of those things you sit back and you just watch. I remember seeing George Carlin one time say that he was a notebook guy, that he was just sitting back taking notes, just watching the world circle the drain. If he was here today, he would run out of paper pretty quick, because the way that people will go out there and just make complete and total fools of themselves and never back up and correct themselves about anything, never say, oh, I was wrong, never say, they'll say that's not what I voted for, but that's who they voted for. And they voted for the guy who said he was going to do these things. So it's like, I voted for him. I didn't think he would do it. That one will always leap off the page at me. Like, what in the hell were you thinking? And there's no other place in the world where you could do Donald Trump's act and get hired to do anything. And he is, once again, President of the United States. Now just imagine if you recommended somebody to work Let's say you vouched for them, said they were a good worker, said, hey, this person here, let me tell you something, they'll really be good for this company. And you brought them in, and then within 2 days, the supervisor was like, man, this person's completely unhinged. They're completely off the rails. They're not abiding by any rule we got. I have to get rid of them. Most reasonable people would say, well, sorry, I made a mistake. But not MAGA. No, in MAGA's world, it's completely different. In MAGA's world, it's like, well, yeah, but I guess we just have to give him time. Just have to give him a little time. Do you think you would be able to get away with saying to the guy, to the boss, we'll have to go through a little pain with this guy first before he gets his act together. We'll have to go through a little pain first. Oh, we're going to be in for a long 4 years, and I understand that calling out MAGA every day and pointing out their hypocrisy, I understand that, yeah, it's like beating a dead horse. And there's a whole lot of people that says, well, Brando, what can we do to just, instead of beating that dead horse? I'll be honest with you, I'm still looking for the answers myself. If I'm just being brutally honest, I'm still looking for ways to combat this. But I do feel that we always have to point out the hypocrisy. And I do believe that we always have to point out the inconsistencies. And I know it gets tiresome, but I think you still have to call that stuff out. And the reason being is because if anybody is ever going to walk away from anything, they have to see inconsistency and they have to see hypocrisy. And I know it feels pretty hopeless right now. I'm sure some of you are saying, Brando, they're never going to walk away. Well, we've seen some walk away, and we will see more walk away slowly. The ones that are walking away now are going to walk away a little bit more defeated than before because they ain't like the ones that jumped off the train back in 2017 or 18. They've been here long enough, so it's going to be pretty embarrassing to admit they got played this long. But as people begin to step off of this Trump train, we just have to keep pointing out the hypocrisies and the inconsistencies and keep showing them how that this never was going to work for you. There was no world in which it was going to work for you. And we have to build our community stronger, and we have to get louder on the principles that we stand for and the ideas that we stand for, and we have to make them connect with the people. Because one of the most disheartening things is sitting here saying, I'm for equality, I'm for freedom, I'm for women's rights, I'm for the gay and trans community to be able to live just like everyone else. I'm for seeing people not get a handout but have a better hand to play. It's super frustrating to sit here and say that to people in my part of the world who calls me a traitor. Meanwhile, they will get so caught up in some culture war if Kid Rock goes out and throws a tantrum about it. And it's never going to affect their lives. It's never going to hurt them in no way, shape, or form. But they're more worried about that. And you know why I really believe that is? It's because that is a little culture war that they can get in and they can fight it. They can feel like they won when it's over. But I don't want to be on that side of the aisle fighting those ridiculous culture wars. I don't want to have those just temporary moments of I won something. I want to put in the work and get back all the things that we've lost. And I know that's going to take a lot of years and a lot of time, and I may not live to see it. That's one of the more, not to end this video on a depressing note, but my dad said I probably won't live to see it turn around. And I said, Dad, don't feel bad. I probably won't either. But at least we will have been on the right side of history, and at least this platform will stand as this was one guy that didn't fall for it, and there's a whole lot of people out there that didn't fall for it. And we're doing it so that future generations will know we didn't buy into it. Because for years, as we read the history books about 1930s Germany, we sat and we read those books. And we always said to ourselves, how could this have happened here? Wasn't anyone saying something? Well, the people back then didn't have a cell phone in their pocket. The people back then couldn't create a platform and get it to over 500,000 people. I wish they could have. I wish more people could have used their voices and it could have went worldwide. I truly feel for those people. But we have no excuse. We've had everybody trying to warn us. We have more information at our fingertips now than we've ever had before. Instead of sitting and scrolling till you find what fits your preconceived notion, how about you dig in? And you really understand history, and you understand where we come from, and you understand what we're about. You understand the groups we're supposed to not be standing in allegiance with. And you understand that this is not how the system works. There's a lot of people sitting back now celebrating and ready to feel the pain. And they have no idea the pain that they're truly about to cause American history in general. Because they're so caught up in the bullshit. So let's continue to build our communities. Let's continue to speak on the issues louder and get louder. And we're going to have to continue to point out the inconsistencies and hypocrisy because that's what I had. I was on Luke Beasley's show recently, and he said, "What was it that you grew up in a very red part of the world? What was it that made you walk away from that stuff?" And I said to him, I had an uncle who sat down and showed me the Republicans' voting records. When I would go, they seem like one of us. They're for morals. They're for values. They're patriotic. They got an American flag behind them. They got a family, and they got a Bible on their lap. They seem like a pretty cool guy. My uncle was like, but look at what they voted for. Look at their hypocrisy. Watch them stand here and say they're for veterans, and then look right here where they walk behind closed doors and worked against veterans. And it was having somebody like that in my life that led to Tennessee Brando. There wouldn't be one without Brad Robbins. There wouldn't be. So we keep putting in the work, we keep lifting up our voices, and we keep moving forward. And either way you slice it, we're on the right side of history. And it's a shame that we ever had to feel any pain because a bunch of people were just dumbasses. And I just don't really think there's an excuse for it. I really don't. It's just stupidity that just kept breeding and breeding and breeding, and we got to stand up and be louder than it. That's my advice. And it's just, we're here. So I feel like Evander Holyfield in the ring with Tyson when the ear got bit off. It's like, it's a fight now. So here we go.